Here's something that will shock you. The laziest person in your office is probably the safest from being fired. Sounds crazy? Stick with me. Because the people we call lazy are often not lazy at all. They are selective, they are careful, and sometimes they are smarter than everyone else in the room. In most workplaces, being busy looks impressive, but being busy is not the same as being valuable. The employee who runs around all day may feel important, but the employee who solves the real problem quietly becomes impossible to replace. That is the first secret. Lazy people protect their energy. They do not spend all day saying yes to everything. They ask one dangerous question: does this actually matter? And that question can save an entire week. Most people confuse effort with impact. They think, if I suffer enough, someone will notice. But companies do not reward suffering, they reward results. And lazy people understand results very well. They search for the shortcut before they start the work. Not because they hate work, because they hate wasted work. A lazy worker will automate a task that others repeat forever. They will create a template instead of rewriting the same email 20 times. They will build a checklist so they do not have to remember every tiny detail. And from the outside, it looks like they are doing less. But in reality, they remove friction. They make the work easier next time. That is why they often survive layoffs. Because they are not just employees, they are systems builders. Here's the second secret. Lazy people avoid drama. They do not volunteer for every office conflict. They do not join every complaint circle. They know that drama costs energy, and energy is their favorite currency. So they stay calm. They answer messages clearly. They keep their promises small, and then they deliver. That combination is rare. Most people overpromise because they want to look useful. Then they panic when the deadline arrives. Lazy people do the opposite. They promise less. Then they finish on time. And managers love people who do not create surprises. Reliability beats intensity almost every time. The third secret is even more uncomfortable. Lazy people are harder to exploit. They notice when a job description quietly becomes 2 jobs. They notice when urgency is fake. They notice when meetings have no purpose. And they quietly protect their boundaries. Not aggressively, not rudely, just clearly. This makes them look professional, and professionalism is protection. Here is something nobody tells you. The easiest person to fire is not the slow person. It is the chaotic person, the person who creates confusion, the person who disappears when things get serious, the person who makes managers nervous. Lazy people avoid that mistake. They may move slowly, but they move predictably, and predictability builds trust. Trust is the real workplace currency. You can be brilliant and still be a liability, but if people trust you, they keep you close. Now, let's talk about meetings. Lazy people hate useless meetings, so they learn how to make meetings shorter. They ask, what decision do we need to make? That one sentence can save a company thousands of hours. It turns noise into direction. It makes him look focused. And focused people get protected. Here is the fourth secret. Lazy people document everything important. Not every tiny thing, just the things that matter. Deadlines, decisions, responsibilities. This protects them when memories change. Because in the workplace, memory is flexible. But written proof is solid. A lazy person does not want to argue later. So they write it down now. That is not laziness. That is insurance. The fifth secret is about visibility. Lazy people do not hide their results. They know quiet work can be forgotten, so they make progress visible. A short update can change everything. It tells the manager, I've got this. And managers remember the people who make them feel safe. This is why lazy people can look relaxed while others panic. They are not carrying invisible chaos. They simplified the work before the pressure arrived. They built systems. They protected boundaries. They communicated clearly. They avoided fake urgency. And they delivered what mattered. So maybe the goal is not to become lazy. Maybe the goal is to become impossible to waste. Work less randomly, think more clearly, and become the person they cannot afford to lose.